Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the ones that are here, safe and sound here. Doug, good morning. Amber will be joining us today. All right, so let's call the meeting to order. Approval of the minutes of Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
You do?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any discussion? Okay, we'll move to public comment. We do not have anybody in the public. We did receive a letter, from Ms. Logan, and that has been put in the comments. As far as I know, the city attorney and the city manager are working on that. So we will move on to action items. Okay, 2024 is here, you guys, and this is the time that we nominate officers. So the table is open to nominate a chair and a vice chair.
Yeah, it caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, I think I like what we are right now, but I mean, is that something we have to, we pass?
And you, I'm okay staying as the chair.
Okay, I would nominate, let's stay the way we are at this point. I think we're efficient.
I second that.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have Amber on?
No, she's.
No, I don't think she's gonna be, right? She's not gonna.
Amber?
Is she on?
No, she's not.
Okay.
She texted me. She said she wasn't.
Okay. Okay.
We do have a quorum.
Okay.
Okay, any comments, any motion has been approved and passed? Any discussion? Okay, let's move on to the water utility. Haven't internet at home. Read a little bit of this.
This one looks pretty straightforward. It looks like a hose spigot or.
Yep.
Hose bib was actually on, not leaking. There wasn't any malfunction. It was just simply open. Neighbor turned it off, and of course, none of that water went into our treatment system. So we aren't even able to give any relief on that. So move to deny.
Okay, so I have a motion to deny, staff to use self-recommendation for use L's Nancy. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Do I have a second?
Yeah, this is Doug, just to make sure we have the right record here. So that was denied based on the fact that there was no malfunction of a component and therefore it's not a leak. Is that well stated?
In addition to that, none of it entered into the treatment system.
Correct.
So we don't have the ability to give any relief for just the water part. And none of it entered into the treatment. And so we aren't
Okay.
even able to get
Right.
any relief on
Yeah.
that.
Okay, got it.
Okay, motion has been
I second. Yeah,
second, okay.
right, we're consistent.
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion has been approved. Any discussion? Motion has been approved, second and passed. Thank you. All right, let's move on to public status, work status.
Okay, and I'll comment since we were just talking about hose bibs. I saw some of that this weekend. It's freezing that had second homes. So it's here to kind of freeze. And one house in particular, we saw quite a bit of water damage. The pipe broke inside the house. It appeared and was coming out the side of the home. So Daryl on my team was out with Trevor and I and two other workers. He went over and shut it off to stop the damage, so to speak. But that homeowner's got some work and repairs. So it was a good eye opener for people to know how important it is to know your neighbors. A neighbor had called that in to us or texted in to us to let us know. And we were able to react and help out by shutting it off. But if we have those neighborhood odds established where we know our neighbors and we can kind of look for neighbors that we know don't live here full time and prepare for something that hits us as extreme as what we just went through. is a good thing. In addition to, if they had ion water, they would have known they had a leak and could have called for some help. So that was kind of a twofer opportunity there. And so I'm sure today when things start to get a little bit more rational for us as far as just the chaos, Daryl will reach out to these folks, and the neighbor may have also mentioned it to him. So
That's very good. And that was because of it froze it back into the house, right? Okay. And I think it's very important for $2.49 at Walmart, you buy the little styrofoam that goes over the faucet.
main thing is unhook the hose.
Yeah, unhook the hose for sure.
Those freeze-proof bibs, they shut off inside the wall.
Oh,
So
that's
what they
great.
have to do is they have to drain that water that's inside there, that it is more heavily insulated, but it still freezes.
I see,
And
see.
it has to drain out. With the hose on there, it can't drain all that water out.
Correct.
So you can take that hose off, turn it off, take the hose off, make sure it drains, and you can put the hose back on there as long as you don't turn that water on again. You've then evacuated all the water from where it shuts off inside the wall, the freeze-proof ones I'm talking about, out. But the best thing to do is just leave it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just leave it
I
off.
don't know what's frozen in the hole that's gonna
Correct.
prevent water from escaping, so. Yeah, it's just a good example of why that simple thing is really important.
I agree.
So the next item was our budget discussion, and because Amber brought that up, and I want her to be part of the discussion, in addition to the fact I'm somewhat unprepared, because here's what I want to explain to you guys. I have several spreadsheets that I need to get in front of you. I can put those up on the screen, but they're going to be very tiny. And so if it's at all possible for everybody to be here when we have this discussion, it's going to make a lot more sense to you how we track each project when it's a capital project, especially on what our drawdowns are, how they book to the budget every month, and how I keep track in between a payable hitting our budget through finance, meaning a check has been cut and provided to the contractor, sub or whoever. Then there's another dynamic of projects that are just part of our regular operating budget that I also track differently. And so I want to show you those two things because they're internal to Public Works, just so that I can keep really close tabs on the projects as I'm approving payouts. I can see, just like your checkbook register, if you will, you can see it ticking down.
Yep.
Okay. When we get actuals, they're anywhere from a month to 2 months behind. When I'm making critical business decisions on budget, especially when it's getting close to the end of the year, 2 months makes a big difference. And so I could easily overrun the budget. So we track it the way that I'm going to share with you for that reason, because finance has some scrubbing, if you will, to do to the budget before they send out our actuals. And we can get into Cassell, our budget software for the city, and see where we are at the moment, but that doesn't mean that everything is booked. And so there is a gap, if you will, that I have to respect when I'm making decisions to approve something. And that's what I want to go over with you guys so that you can see internally how Public Works does it. And then, of course, you see our projects that we update to you guys. And if you want me to include where we are budget-wise when I talk to you about the projects, I can certainly do that. I can tell you we're 70% spent, we're only 30% spent, whatever. And you see in the approved budget what we've been allotted for those projects. So you can look at that total, and if I tell you we're 25% or whatever spent, you have a wager of where we are money-wise versus where we are in the completion of the project. Does that make sense?
Total sense. And I think
Next thing I want to do is go over my internal spreadsheets with you every single month because it's too tedious. I wouldn't agree to that because you'd fall asleep. It doesn't really have a.
checkbook is a very good analogy.
But
The checkbook is good. I mean,
I want you guys to see how we do it, so you know how on top of these projects we are,
good.
down to tiniest level that we could possibly get it. So I want you guys to be comfortable with it. And I would encourage you guys to please attend the budget meeting this year. Just call into it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you which day is going to be Public Works because we usually take up a good majority of a day. Just because of the size of our team and our budget. So you don't have to sit through every director's segment. But your purview's Public Works. If you want to know, you will get a good dose of the budget because I go line by line and talk about things that are going up or why they're going down and so on and so forth. So that's a really good session to attend. You'll hear me not only summarize what we've done with the money they gave us in the current year and where we are, because as you know, June 30th is a cutoff. So we're 6 months, from that. And, but then you'll hear me ask for money for projects and why I'm asking for it. You'll hear me ask for money for vehicles, equipment, whatever. So you're going to hear all my asks to the council and budget committee, and you'll ultimately hear what's been approved and what hasn't.
Yeah.
And so it'll give you a really good, just attend it at least one time. And then when we talk about things in here, you'll have a better perspective of kind of the process that goes into it.
Great. So when we're a full forum, including Amber, you'll go over that and then we'll take it.
I definitely want her to be,
I'll agree.
I don't want her to miss that. And and then again, she had wanted a list of projects. They're in the budget and I talk about them to you guys. And if you guys want to keep your own internal spreadsheet to your committee of how you're keeping track of what I'm sharing, go for it. That's completely up to you guys if you want to do it. But I'm tracking a whole lot right now. So, whatever works for you guys to really feel you have your arms around what we have going on. So it's okay. I'd like to be able to bring that next month and hope that maybe Amber might be able to join us. If not, we'll put the sheets up on the screen and we'll do the best we can to walk you through it. They're pretty long Excel spreadsheets, so we're going to be moving from one side of the image to the other. And for some people, that's not ideal. They like to see the full spreadsheet. So if it's all right with the committee, I would make that proposal to do this next month and hopefully be able to get Amber here in person, and maybe Doug would be able to be here. It just depends.
Well, if all goes to plans, I'll be in Palm Springs next month on Zoom and, but don't gear it around me. I'll be fine.
You dirty dog.
I know it.
Been down there yet?
Yeah, well, actually, we've had to postpone it soon because of the bad weather. We're supposed to be down there
We'll
now.
come to you, Doug. We'll come to you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
I may be in South Tahoe.
This might call for a team road trip.
So who? But yeah, our new slogan is going to be "In Karen We Trust."
Yeah.
I'm
So are you guys good with that? Okay, so we'll
Good with
put that on the agenda next month. And
Good.
any questions about this weekend, how we did? You want to know any storm updates?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a personal question. I noticed at my home down there that all the cameras and everything are out. Is there still sporadic power outages?
Internet's out.
Got internet out, all of Cannon Beach, parts of Seaside, all of Manzanita, and probably Arch Cape and Falcon Cove and everywhere else in between.
Okay, so the
Right.
power's on, but the internet's out.
Right.
But
Okay,
this
that would
morning-
make sense.
But Doug North, where I live, the internet's on.
I'm just gonna say, so I just want to revise that statement a little bit is what Spectrum told me this morning was that they're currently working on the TV aspect. They expect that to come up today. And the internet piece is much more significant to a particular zone. And they said it could be as late as Saturday that
Oh.
comes on. I had internet at my house in Talawana Park area. As Scott says, in the north zone, people have it. But there is a zone of downtown that goes all the way out to the 26th that is dead. And I think that's the one he's referring to, that could be as late as Saturday, which is pretty
Okay.
shocking because.
Well, I'm glad I asked because that means there's probably power power to the house, but there's no internet to send out a signal as to what's going on. So that, okay,
Correct. Yeah,
okay,
so we'll see. I mean, it could come on sooner, but you know, they're like us. They don't make real finite commitments when they're working with infrastructure that's unpredictable. So,
okay.
And just so you know, like my wife's sister lives in Lincoln City and they've been out of power since Saturday.
yeah.
No power. I mean, I would rather not have internet, but power.
So if you guys haven't discovered it, you can go on Pacific Power's website because
Yeah.
people are constantly texting and, you know, social media asking, you know, when's the power gonna be on? Pacific Power has a fantastic app now. They also have their map, MAP, on their website that actually puts a red dot where there's an outage and you touch on that and it'll give you a status. And they try to update that, you know, every 30 minutes, every hour or so. And so that's a quick and dirty to get a status of somewhere that you're wondering, and it could be anywhere in their footprint.
Mm.
And so I use that. Our city contact through Pacific Power communicates with me regularly, but I try not to bug her unless that's telling me something different than what we're experiencing. And then we talk live to each other. And so just for your knowledge, that's a good one to tell kind of, again, if you're a second homeowner and you want to know what's going on at your house and what you have and what you don't have, that's a good one for power to know. But the weekend overall, of course, it's always chaos when we have some sort of record situation, whether it's wind or in this situation, it was ice. But the great thing is, I think between the fire, the PD, Public Works, the communication was great. But we were getting calls from Oregon State Patrol. We were getting calls from all over the place. So it was a little crazy. My whole team obviously could not get here because they don't all live in Cannon Beach. So it was a mighty team of 5, including Trevor and I. And we held our own. Our pump stations operated great, knock on wood. We had some damage to one of our pump stations, our water pump station up on Ash. 3 branches fell, and then we had a pretty good sized one fall that damaged the roof and the gutter and whatnot. But overall, we didn't have anything significant. The conference center had some damage. Trees came down and landed on top of a car. They had some building damage as well. But the trees just hanging with the weight of the ice was pretty eye opener for me. I mean,
There are pine cones everywhere.
yeah, we had some
Boom.
trees that were literally laying on the power lines. So
Yeah.
I told Trevor if it comes up, I would be leery that it would even stay up because at any time those lines could come down. And so it was a little unnerving. The streets were just like a sheet of ice. And so you don't have a lot of control footage wise or vehicle wise when it's like that. So for a brief period, we restricted access to the highway until OSP and fire department could get control of what had happened out on the highway. And then we opened, that was at Sunset and the North. We opened Sunset. It was fairly safe to be able to get out there. If you had chains, they were asking people to be chained up. They're going to get on the highway. And we kept the north entrance restricted just because Fur and Beach is it was just a sheet of ice. So we had a hard time just staying upright, trying to get the barricades up to keep people from going out that way. It was just extremely dangerous. And so.
And they haven't picked up garbage, mine's Friday and that's still sitting there. And there was just a sheet of ice about 1 inch thick.
Yeah.
All over it, so.
Yep, so the city doesn't, some cities have somebody that is staffed full-time to just keep stuff up on their page. We don't, the PD will put things out that are crucial to us. I try to add things that are relative to Public Works. I posted something about Recology on the city's Facebook page. And then, of course, on my own page, I try to keep just the neighborhood, apprised. So we posted something about Recology. They kept us updated. I have to give them big kudos. They did an excellent job just texting and sending us emails. We were watching email all weekend long, Bruce and I and the whole team. And so they communicated extremely well. Recology did. You can imagine in some of our locations here, they couldn't even get their truck up. Astoria forget about it. It was just dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing, we had a FedEx truck that got stuck. They were asking people to stay off of Ecola Park Road. I mean, that's really.
It was right there 3 hours. It was,
So it's those type of things. We're just asking people, please, if at all possible, shelter in place. There were a lot of people that were out downtown just wanting to see what was going on. We had one medical incident that Public Works was able to help deal with that didn't require ambulance, of course. And so overall, it went well. It went well. There's always lessons learned, and we'll be doing a post-mortem with the fire department, PD, ODOT, and then us, of course, in our own respective public works team. But overall, it went good. I mean, I will say this, I hope you guys take it the way I mean it. It's good to have these drills, because we always learn something. And there were definitely moments over the weekend, I was making notes saying, ooh, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. And so it's a good dry run for when things are really going to happen. Our cross training that we've been doing for over a year in Public Works is very purposeful type cross training, paid off hands down.
great.
We had a couple of people that were stuck in the Alaska Airlines debacle and couldn't get home from some great vacations. We had one person down sick. And so Daryl on our water team was helping Jet with the pump stations. So Trevor and the guys split up when the power first went out, and we just went and made sure everything transferred over to generator successfully. And it happened within minutes. They could be that fast, just splitting up like that, responding. So Daryl was definitely the hero helping us out with wastewater this weekend.
Oh,
As you know, Jet's our newest employee, but he was a rock star, man. He was doing good.
good.
And they had their mentor and their coach there backing them up. So I was real proud of them. They did an outstanding job. So anyway, yeah, that was the main thing. Sidewalks were super slick.
Oh.
Exposed aggregate, when you get stuff like this, is like an ice skating rink. So the businesses that opened needed to man their entrances because businesses are responsible for their own sidewalks. And so they were calling for help, and our manpower was going a whole different direction than salting sidewalks. And so that was a little dicey. It's a kind of a pecking order of importance. And
if the weather forecast is accurate, from Wednesday, tomorrow on, the lows in the mid to high 40s. So we should be getting out of this.
yeah, that's
Well,
what.
if it makes you guys feel any better, we have an ice storm moving in here this afternoon that will add up to a 1/4 inch to the already thick sleet covered roads here. So, but the forecast does say this coast will be spared.
Yeah. We're hoping, Doug. Don't say that. We were chuckling over the weekend. Jet and I, he said, it's just a little rain, boss. And I said, Jet.
As long as this is not 32.
Rain hitting the window with a click. That means it's freezing.
Yeah.
Buckle up. So.
Amber asked me a question. So there's also something orange knitting on the orange cones. Okay, this is on the south side of Haystack Rock. There's orange knitting and orange cones by Pacific Street. Does anybody know any of that stuff?
We'll check that
Just
out.
concerned that it will go into the ocean. So
Okay,
Oh,
Just what?
orange netting and orange cones.
she's afraid to go into the ocean.
Where?
She said just south of Haystack Rock.
Yeah, that's Center Street Beach access.
yeah, we'll check it out. Thank you, Amber.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good in the sense that I really appreciate the residents being our eyes, you know, our phones were blowing up with text over the weekend and messages and emails and
God,
stuff and, you know, even calls. And when I came in, my phone light was flashing on my desk and I was able to pick up messages. So people were letting us know what they were seeing. Some of it we already were aware because Trevor and I were doing town checks all day and all night. And so,
wow.
but it helps. It helps because there's things that we don't see that may have happened after we left a particular area, and the faster we can try to respond, the better. A lot of the trees, people are not aware, we just clear the road and we clean up the rest when the conditions are safe. So if it's blocking the right of way, we just leave it until it's safe for the guys to actually be out there, you know.
And I can remember back in the summer months or spring, summer, every couple of years, they bring in that company that cuts back the limbs that are close to them. Why, thank God we do that.
Yeah,
Because then that prevents this kind of a thing. I mean, we could have an incident, but not like,
yeah, we had some really big trees laying on
There-
our lines along Hemlock that I was particularly concerned about, but I mean, they're big, massive, beautiful trees, and when you get ice like this, they're gonna weigh down, and some of the limbs were hanging all the way to the ground,
Yeah.
touching.
yeah,
And so obviously those limbs don't spring back. Even the ones I'm sure you saw out here in City Hall, that the trees aren't really that big. They're hanging down and they're not going to recover from that. So we'll have to have an arborist look and help us trim that properly for the health of the tree. So yeah, it happens. We, you know, our ordinance is 14 feet so that fire trucks, you know, trash trucks, UPS, FedEx, all those big trucks, our trees, limbs are not scraping their trucks. And in this situation, those things were hanging low. I mean, they were touching the top of my vehicle. And so, and I wasn't in a truck, I was in an SUV. And so it was, the weight of the ice was pretty significant. So it was beautiful, but scary.
it is here. Yeah.
All of them did good. I mean, PD, fire department, all the OSP they were great this weekend, just amazing. Yeah. Anyway, there'll be an update tonight to council. Bruce has asked, Jason Schermerhorn, Chief PD, and, Reckman, Fire Chief, and myself to give an update. So, and I'm sure Rick will jump in on that from Emergency Management. County did a great job just keeping us
Yes.
apprised of things. Same with Pacific Power. They were sending emails. And of course, the Nixle worked like a champ. So if any of you guys are not signed up, I'm sure you are, or know anybody that's not, encourage them, because lots of people that were texting me, if they had Nixle, they would have been getting the stuff I was putting up on our page so that everybody knew.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So,
I got all the alerts.
yeah. So anyway, that's the kind of the state of the weekend. I thought the teams did a phenomenal job.
Beautiful.
Thank you for that.
And thank you for doing the postmortem.
Yeah, yeah,
You can learn from that.
anytime.
All right, let's move on to good of the order.
Okay. Okay, I have a subject that I read Susie Logan's letter that Jennifer sent out, 212 pages. Now, I did not read 212 pages, but I read down and it caught my eye that I was quoted in her letter by stating something that I did not say. And that is that when we talked about the culvert on Ecola Park Road and 8th Street, I live right there. It's on the corner of my house. Okay, I said that the culvert was cleaned, the north side, very frequently by Public Works. They kept it clean. The south, I have no clue because it goes all the way down. It's out of eyesight. You can't even see it. but it was embellished that I mentioned that the south was all clean. That is not right. And then she says, quote, "This is a complete lie. I am not a liar. I take that personally. It was an insult. I'm offended." So I want to set the record straight that I was only talking about the culvert on my street that I can see is always kept clean because it gets debris. And about I'd say every couple of months, Public Works comes up and cleans it out. So it drains properly. But the south have no idea that thing goes all the way down through. So I took exception to the way it was written that I insinuated that. That is not true. I just want to set the record straight.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I don't want to sound like a commercial, but I do want to make sure that people that are actually watching this Zoom and this meeting, that yes, there's a couple of things that I wanted to think about. And if you don't have Ion Water, please
Yes.
get Ion Water. If you're not on Nixle, please get those alerts.
Yep.
It's very, very important. If you have not done your Know Your Neighborhood event, please contact the city, contact me directly.
Beautiful.
And help me arrange that. It's very, very important. This is the time that, we had a lot of people. If you're not a CERT, join us. I have to tell you, I got a couple of calls from CERTs or actually trainees. And it was pretty awesome. They are already out there and they're checking things out. So
Cool.
that's my commercial for the day. And the blood drive was canceled yesterday due to the weather. So if you need an appointment for March, just let me know.
Okay, great.
And if anybody needs help with Ion Water, just call and let us know. Daryl, any of our staff can walk you through, get you signed up. So,
Yes, very important.
and it's free.
Oh,
That's the most important part.
yeah, the Ion Water, I mean.
Every information is free. Yes, that is correct.
And I read something where they had now the abbreviation is IOW. Instead of, I and then OW, Ion Water.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, okay,
There you go.
now we know what it is.
All right, well, thank you guys for everything.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there and
Yes.
if you're walking, walk safely. And if you're driving, please drive safely.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
See you,
Thank you.
Doug. Have fun in Palm Springs.
Good luck.